So yesterday we started talking about slope, and today we're going to use the slope formula, which I talked to you about yesterday. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Really, that is saying the change in y over the change in x. Okay? And remember that m stands for slope, so if it ever says, what is the m value of this equation, m is slope. I don't know if it will. That was a dumb example. So find the slope of the line that contains 4, -2, and -1, 2. So this is going to be our x1, y1. This is going to be our x2, y2. Okay? It doesn't matter which pair is x1, y1 and which pair is x2, y2 as long as you keep your x1, y1 together and your x2, y2 together. Okay? So, we have m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So, and for y2, we're going to put 2 minus -2 over x2, which is -1, minus 4. These two negatives change to positives, and we get 4 over -5, which is -4/5. So because this slope is negative, the line that has these 2 points in it is going to run as a negative slope. Okay? You don't care about graphing it because, well, they didn't say to graph it, they just said to find the slope. The next thing would be to look at a table and figure it out. I'm sorry, not a table, by a graph. Next is a table. So we have 2 points. We have -2, -1, and 2, 2. Again, it doesn't matter which one you label, x1, y1, or x2, y2, as long as you keep them together. So we're going to say, I always just say label the left one x1, y1, and label the right one x2, y2. Okay, so we have m equals y2 over y1, which is the change in y, over x2 minus x1, which is the change in x. y2 is 2 minus y1, which is -1, over x2, which is 2 minus x1, which is -2. These change positive, these change positive. 2 plus 1 is 3, 2 plus 2 is 4. That's positive. So as you can see, this slope is positive. The slope of that line is a positive if you were to compare it with your pictures from the last lesson. So now we're going to find the slope from a table. So on this, we can choose any 2 points. It doesn't matter. So let's choose this one and this one. So that translates into 2, 0 and 2, 5. Okay? So this is going to be our x1, y1, x2, y2. Because I just always say furthest left make 1s, furthest right makes 2s. Don't have to follow it, but that's how it's easier to remember. So we have m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. y2 is 5 minus 0 over x2 is 2 minus 2. So 5 minus 0 is 5. 2 minus 2 is 0. You can't divide by 0, so your slope is undefined. So that line, if you were to graph it, would be that line would be vertical. Sometimes I have to think about my vertical and horizontal, and kind of like I have to think about my lefts and rights. So the last thing we're going to talk about is finding the slope of a line from an equation. So we have 6, oops, that's not writing. 6x minus 5y equals 30. And our steps for how we do that is we find intercepts, like we learned how to do in 4-2, and we use those 2 points, intercepts, in y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so we're going to find our x-intercept, and then we're going to find our y-intercept. So to find our x-intercept, we replace y with 0. These cancel, and we get 6x equals 30. Divide by 6, and x equals 5. So our x-intercept is 5, 0. And then we have the same thing with our y-intercept, the same equation, but we replace x with 0. Equals 30, and these cancel. So we have negative 5y equals 30. Divide by negative 5. These cancel, and we get y equals negative 6. So our intercept is 0, negative 6. So now we use those 2 points for the slope formula. So we can say that this is x1, y1. We can say this is x2, y2. And we use m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. y2 is negative 6 minus y1, which is 0. x2 is 0 minus x1, which is 5. And we simplify those. Negative 6 minus 6 is negative 6. And 0 minus 5 is negative 5. And 2 negatives make a positive, so our slope is 6/5. And you do not change those to mixed numbers. Okay? So slope should always be as an improper fraction and never as a mixed number. And on tests, I will take points off if you change slope to a mixed number.